Welcome back to another episode of Does This Joint Have Enough Friction? Actually doing something a little bit different today. We are going to be using a joint, this new part here, which I talked about a couple of videos ago. This is a new part for 2022 that attaches to a rotation disc intended for legs and shoulders and so on. It's blasé for that purpose just because it's not very strong, but I was doing an alt build of that Ninjago set, and while looking for a means to create a slope on it, I actually ended up using this. So I'm going to show you how I did that today. And as always, if you like this, thumbs up, subscribe, etc., etc. So if you've watched my torso tutorial video, you know this is one of my favorite ways of getting a slope. So basically you can do studs up if you want a flat bottom, studs forward if you want to carry the slope both ways. It's one of my favorites, but this part here, this Technic slope, is discontinued, which can be kind of a hassle, particularly if you're not up on buying stuff from Bricklink. So what you may have, if you bought a recent set, are a couple of these, and it's actually amazingly easy to use them. And there's some really interesting opportunities here if you want to go a bit crazy, which I'll show. So going from this to something like this, not that difficult. I was noodling with this and actually think I'm going to turn it into something, so stay tuned for that. So where do we begin? Well, typically you would attach these joints as so. Again, the new thing about them is in the old days, you would have had a Technic Rotation Disc sticking out here, and you would have had some ratchet joints attaching to there, etc., etc. So it's very obvious then. You start playing with this, and it's like, okay, well, you know, okay, here, I'm done. There's my slope. Cool video, bro. And then, you know, you do this. Let's get that in there. And it's really self-explanatory. You know, here you can get easy studs up. You can pick whatever angle you want, and you can go to town. Pretty easy, pretty good clearance, and so on. Now, the only thing to bear in mind is your snot work. So just remember your combinations here. So this is 2x2 plate with studs, a standard 1x2 brick with studs, and then this is the 2x1 3/4. So you can see that you can see basically how they match up here. So just keep this in mind. The easy way to remember it is the odd pieces, meaning the plate with stud and the 2x1 3/4 match up, i.e. their studs begin in the same place at the bottom. So as you are crafting your snot onto this, just keep that in mind. But I'm going to show you something slightly different. So as I was noodling with this, I found that it was actually easier to get clearance if you built it vertically rather than horizontally. So instead of this, I'm just going to pop this out of here. I used, where are you? Right here. So all I've done here is I put together the equivalent of what this would be like horizontally. So you can see there. So that's same idea as snot, where all I've done is I've created the same amount of space by having two plates in between there. And so I'm actually going to attach these like so. And that's really all it comes down to. So you get a really nice amount of clearance there. Like, yeah, you're going to have to deal with these, but you're probably going to be building high enough anyways. And what's cool about this for slopes is you can pick your angle, which you obviously can't do, you know, if you're building something fixed. You can do it if you're using mixel joints or something like that. But it gives you a lot of interesting opportunities while you're building. You know, if I was to take this off here, let's say I'm designing this, I'm like, okay, you know, actually that's a little bit, I want a super dramatic slope. So there you go, you're done, right? Or maybe I want a less dramatic slope. So you just have a little bit less, and then, oh, well, actually, you know what? I'll just make it go straight. So it gives you a little bit of flexibility as you're designing. And it also just has, again, a lot of clearance in there, which is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do next is, since building studs up is obviously obvious, and what I'll reiterate here, which I talked about a little bit on the video where I was using these as joints, is it is important to seal this hole, or this thing really just pulls off quite easily. It's just, of course it's not happening now, but it does come off quite easily, so it's good to pin it along with the rest so it stays really solid on there. So yeah, so let's move on to a little box frame I used to get this, and we'll go from there. So here we have all the components of the box frame, and I'll show you how they go together. So on this side here, we already have it assembled, and this is where you can pause the video to see exactly how it works, but it's very similar to how I build my legs. You know, we have these 1x1 Technic bricks with holes, and again I have a pin in each one of them to attach it both to the regular holes and to seal in that spot there. And again, I really like the 1x1 bricks with adjacent studs. So using some corner plates, etc. And all that does is just pops right on like so. And that is, that's really the core of it right there. And, you know, it's a bit wobbly, so what we do to reinforce it is just put in some cross braces, one on the top, and then whatever you want to do on the bottom. Again, you'll probably be filling these with various things to design it however you want, but that's really it. There is a box frame for creating a slope with lots of really nice clearance, selectable angle, pretty cool. Now, if you want to go crazy, the other cool thing about this part is you could actually use it as intended and do something like that. And now you have a very dynamic looking style. And this isn't necessarily just for the front of a mech. You could put this on anything. Like this could really be used for anything, or this here could be used as you know, a weapons platform or something like that. And if you really wanted to join them, you could probably come up with some sort of wedge plate you know, combination that would fit that gap nicely. So that's basically how it works. Enjoy. Show me what you build if you use it, and peace out. Subscribe, like, etc. Take care.